everyone, it's Julia. Welcome back to my channel if you are a subscriber, and if you are new here, nice to meet you. I make videos about travel, adventure, hiking, packing, and living a good story, and if you're into that, I hope you will hit the subscribe button down below and join me for future videos. Today we are talking about packing for an overnight hiking trip. I'm gonna give you a checklist of what gear to bring with you. If you haven't bought any gear yet and you're not sure where you wanna spend money and where you wanna save, I think this video will be helpful for you because I'm not really a gearhead. I don't always have the nicest of everything, and so I'll be honest with you about where I save money and where I don't, and you can take that information and you can do what you want with it. For today's video, I'm so excited because I am partnering with the app Ultralight. I cannot wait to tell you guys about this because it has literally changed my life. I've talked about it in vlogs before. This is genuine. I'm gonna head over to just like a local trail that's just right by the office. I found it through Ultralight by putting in an address of my office, and I found that there was this awesome flat trail like right by my office. So I'm so excited to go there right now. I love this app and I use it every day. It is on my phone right now. It is an app that you can download for free, and it'll basically tell you where all the trails are in the world. It's called Ultralight for a reason. So you can download it for free, open it up, and put in your zip code or your city that you live in or a place where you want to go, and it'll bring up all the trails in that area, and it'll tell you how easy they are, how hard they are, and it'll show you some pictures. And one of my favorite features about this is it'll also connect to your maps, and it'll tell you how to get there, how to get to the trailhead. I've not seen that feature really anywhere else. When I look up trails, I always have the hardest time figuring out how to get to the trailhead. And then another really special, unique feature about this app is it has user-generated reviews. So if you click on a trail that looks interesting to you, you can scroll to the bottom and you'll see people have left their own thoughts. These are just regular people that have hiked that trail before, that are hiking enthusiasts, and they'll leave their own pictures, their own thoughts, say that it's hard, say that it's easy, say that there's a bathroom or there's not. This app genuinely kind of changed my life because last year when I was training for the Camino, I was getting so tired. I would hike every day and I was getting so tired of hiking the exact same trails. And so I used Ultralight to find all these different places to train in my area. Not only did it help me get in shape for the Camino, I was getting really tired of where I live, and once I started to discover all these beautiful places to hike and walk around my house, I actually started to appreciate where I lived even more. And so this app has had a pretty big impact on me. It's completely free to download. I will have the link down below if you guys are interested. Honestly, if you like hiking even a little bit, you need to have this app. Point blank. So thank you again to Ultralight for partnering with me on this video. I hope you guys will download it. I know that you will love it. Okay, so once we decide where we're gonna hike, we obviously need to start packing. So the first thing you're obviously gonna need is a backpack. Okay, so the important things to think about when you're buying a backpack is the capacity and the size. So the capacity is how many liters it's gonna hold. I personally recommend for camping, like hiking trip, we're not talking about traveling on an airplane, we're talking about hiking. This is gonna be on your back all day. I think you should go for a 30 to 40 liter bag, but obviously it's up to you. Some people wanna carry more stuff. Maybe it's winter, you wanna carry more, or you wanna carry camera gear or something. That's up to you. But I personally think that's a good range for you. And then also the thing to think about with bags is the size. So you can get the same capacity, but it's a different size, small, medium, or large. I always get smalls. I'm really tall, but I've had my back measured at REI and I'm actually small. So it's important, I can't stress this enough, just go to REI or some kind of outdoor store and try on the bags in person and make sure that they fit you here, they fit you here. You don't wanna have like gaps on your back anywhere. And everything's obviously adjustable. You can change all the straps a little bit, but you wanna make sure that the bag is very comfortable and fits to you. So like let someone at the store help you and they can put weight in it and you can walk around. But when you pick a bag, please make sure that it is the right size for you. So obviously the next thing you're gonna need is your sleep system, and that's gonna be your tent, your sleeping pad, your sleeping bag, and potentially a sleeping liner. The things to think about when buying a tent are gonna be how warm it is and how big it is. So first of all, how big it is, you can find a 1-person tent, a 2-person tent, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's like dome-sized tents. You're gonna want probably a 1 or a 2-person tent unless you are like a family of 5 and you want something big, in which case you're probably car camping. But if you're carrying it on your back, you're probably gonna want a 1 or a 2. I like to go with a 2-person tent. I don't like the just feeling trapped. And so I like to sit up, I like space, and you also have extra space for your pack to fit everything in there. And so I like to have a 2-person tent. But if you're the kind of person who wants your bag to be as small as possible, you can go with a 1-person tent. And additionally, you can go with an ultralight. Ultralight is when you're gonna find the material is a lot thinner. It's still gonna be durable for the most part, but it's gonna be a lot thinner. You'll find that even the aluminum poles are thinner. And additionally, they kind of slope down, so there's no extra space. Sometimes you can't really sit up unless you're really short. And so I really don't like those tents because there's not a lot of space again. But if you're really into being an ultralight packer, then go with an ultralight 1-person size tent, and that'll save space and weight on your bag. And then also the thing to think about with tents is how cold it can be. They're defined by seasons, so there's like 1-season tent, 2-season tent, 3-season tent, and 4-season tents. A 3-season tent is like pretty standard, meaning it's like spring, summer, and fall, and not necessarily winter. And that's, I think, what I have. Obviously, if you're camping in the winter, you will need something different, but a pretty standard thing to have is a 3-season tent. The next thing you're gonna want is a sleeping pad. So a sleeping pad is basically just like a little baby air mattress that you're gonna blow up with your mouth, and you'll sleep on it. I like to pick cheaper ones because they are smaller and they wrap up a lot easier. I like this one because it has 2-way valves, so it releases air really fast and all of the air gets out of it. But also, when you're blowing air in, it doesn't let air out. So it's really the best of both worlds. For this one, it also has a built-in pillow, so that's one less thing you have to bring if you're someone who needs a pillow. I personally think the most comfortable sleeping pads are the kind that have more foam in the middle. I'll link down below some that I think are more comfortable. They're the kinds that look a little bit more like surfboards and less like pool rafts. But I don't like them as much because they don't wrap up as small and it's hard to get all the air out. So I tend to go for sleeping pads that are slightly less comfortable because they wrap up smaller in the backpack. That's just what I like. Obviously, for some people, sleeping is more important than your bag being light, so that's a personal preference. I'll link down below the one I have and then also some that I think are more comfortable. Then of course you're gonna want a sleeping bag. The way that sleeping bags are defined is by how many degrees down it can keep you warm. I think mine will keep you warm down to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. So if you're gonna be in the summertime, this one is fine. Obviously, if it's the winter, you know, it can get iffy. But if you're gonna be camping in the winter, then you'll have to get a sleeping bag that will keep you warm at a lower temperature. So just look for one that's more like 20 degrees, 30 degrees, depending on where you're going. Personally, I almost never use the sleeping bag because I get really hot when I'm sleeping, so I really don't even bring it with me half the time. What I do like to bring instead is a sleeping bag liner. So this is basically a sheet with a zipper. It's a little nicer than that, but that's essentially what it is. And it's meant to go inside of your sleeping bag so that you can wash this and not get your sleeping bag dirty, just like with a bed you have sheets. But I often just use this as a sleeping bag because I get so hot. Even in my house with air conditioning, I get hot and I wake up, so I don't really like to sleep in sleeping bags, but obviously everyone's different and some people sleep really cold, so just get whatever is gonna work best for you. All right, next let's talk about your water system. You're basically gonna need a water filter and some kind of water bottle. I can't stress this enough, do not bring a heavy water bottle. Don't bring a Yeti or any of those heavy aluminum water bottles that are super nice and great for the car, but really heavy and unnecessary in your backpack. The best thing to bring is a platypus like this. Most backpacks have a sleeve, mine does, where this can go. And this is cool because it has its own top, so this can be its own water bottle, or you can take this off and you can screw on, I just got water all over my face. You can screw this on and this goes in your bag like this, kind of like an IV drip. And this comes through the back of your bag. Your pack will probably have some kind of slip where the hose can go through, and it'll come around on the side, and just as you're hiking, water. You don't have to stop, you don't have to like go like this. The next most important thing obviously is gonna be a water filter. This is mine. It is called a Katahdin, like the mountain in Maine at the end of the AT. Okay, so this is, it looks kind of heavy, but it's not. This is a really great water filter. Basically, this is the filter. This side goes in the water, this side goes in your water bottle, and you just pump like this. And to fill up this size, it's probably gonna take like 2 minutes or so. So when I go with my friends, we only bring one and we share it. It's pretty fast. Okay, along with water, you obviously have to eat while you're hiking. So next we're gonna talk about your cook system. What I recommend is just getting a little camping stove and some kind of pot and calling it a day. Basically everything I eat on the trail, I either don't need to cook or I can somehow prepare it with hot water. So this is a little stove. I just need you to appreciate how small it is. It's a Soto. So this is the whole thing right here. It looks like a little satellite. This flips out. This is how you ignite it. You spin it until you can hear the gas. And then this is a really cool function right here. It ignites the flame so you don't need to bring a lighter or anything. So obviously you need some kind of propane. I thought that propane would be expensive, but this actually was like $2.50, and this is a pretty large thing. I've taken this on 3 trips and fed 4 people both times, and I still have a lot left. So the stove screws into the propane, and then it then becomes stable enough to hold up your pot or your pan or whatever you're planning on cooking with this stove. So you can boil water, you can make pasta, you can make oatmeal, hot chocolate. A lot of times while camping, people will do freeze-dried meals, so you just need to boil water and then pour it in. Whatever. So you're gonna need some kind of pot. My past couple of trips, I literally just brought a kitchen pot with me, and I know that's probably not advisable, but it honestly was fine. I took a screwdriver and I screwed the handle off of the pot, 1, because the handle was the heaviest part of the pot, and 2, because it took up a lot less space and weight in my bag. And I just literally had my actual kitchen pot, and the propane didn't harm or burn the bottom at all, and I just served everyone food, I said food, so weird. I served everyone food just with our kitchen pot, and then when I got home I screwed the handle back on, which is great. So if you are camping for the first time and don't have access to a camping pot or don't want to invest in one, honestly, you could just do that. It's fine. But if you want to buy something proper, I would recommend a collapsible pot. I've just got this, but I've used it before and I'm a huge fan. This is Sea to Summit. It's so light. And look, it literally looks like a collapsible plate, but it is a pot. This thing is so great. You can do 1.25 liters of water in here, which I think is enough to make food for like 3 or 4 people. It has a lid. It is really important to have a lid. I haven't had a lid a couple of times. It just takes a little bit longer to boil your water and you're gonna waste your propane. Again, propane is really inexpensive, but it's also just more weight in your bag. So to conserve it, get something with a lid, everything will cook faster, and while you're camping, you're obviously starving, so it's better to cook your food faster. Okay, the next thing you're gonna want is something to eat and drink out of. I like to bring this lightweight plastic coffee cup, and I drink coffee out of this. I also can eat oatmeal and food out of this. You're gonna want something to eat out of. The most normal thing you will find people have when camping is a collapsible bowl or a collapsible cup, really similar to the collapsible pot that I just showed you, except it's not aluminum on the bottom, it's just rubber everywhere. That's super normal, but again, if you don't want to invest in anything, you could honestly just bring a Tupperware or something small, or if you have a plastic bowl. If you're just on a budget and just going camping on a whim with your friends and don't want to buy a bunch of stuff, like honestly just bring a little Tupperware in your bag and eat out of that. Or you can also, honestly, you can eat out of the pot, and you can also, if you prepare your food like in a freeze-dried meal where you're pouring the water in a bag, you can eat out of the bag too. So you don't necessarily have to have some kind of bowl or cup to eat out of if you don't want to, but if you want to, it's nice. And then you're also gonna need some kind of fork or spoon. The best thing to get is a lightweight spork. You can get them at REI for like $1, but if you don't want to go all the way to the store and get one, or you don't have time, again, you could just get a spoon out of your drawer. I've done that myself, it's fine. You know, weight is weight, but if you have a lightweight spoon in your drawer, just bring one. Okay, next up is clothes. I'm not really gonna go into clothes too much. I could do a whole video on what kind of clothes to wear. If you guys want that, let me know. I will just say don't bring cotton clothes. You're gonna get really sweaty and it's gonna be really hard for your clothes to dry. So look for things where the tag says moisture wicking, dry fit, quick dry kind of material. Don't bring cotton unless you're only gonna sleep in it and you're not gonna sweat at all. I personally don't bring any cotton, even my underwear, I just can't handle it. So those are the kinds of things you're gonna wanna bring, and you're gonna wanna bring layers. But I know, again, if you want a whole video on what kind of clothes you should bring, let me know. And then I put all my clothes in a packing cube. You don't have to do this. If you don't care about your bag being like crazy, you can just put your clothes in your bag, or you can put your clothes in a Ziploc bag. That's what my boyfriend does. That's fine too, but if you want to put them in a packing cube, that's what I like. I already have these. So this is also Sea to Summit, and these are ultralight, so they're not adding a lot of extra weight. And has a nice little handle. And then of course you're gonna have all your food. Again, I'm not gonna get into what kinds of food to eat on the trail. That also could be a whole nother video. Let me know if you want a whole video about like food ideas and what kind of food to bring. But again, you're basically gonna want things that you don't have to cook, or that you just cook with hot water pretty much, or if you could heat it over a fire, but there's not always a guarantee that there could be a fire because it rains all the time. What I like to do is put my food in a stuff sack. There's not a lot of food in here right now. I'm in the middle of preparing for a trip for this weekend, so I've only put like oatmeal in here and coffee and a few things. But I like to put things, you absolutely do not have to do this, but I like to put my food in a stuff sack. One, because it's just all there together, and two, because it's just easy to hang it from a tree if you need to. So when you go camping, you have to keep your food away from bears if you're in a bear area, which is a lot of places where you go camping. And so, especially on the AT, there's bear boxes.
Okay, so I feel like I explained this in a really confusing way. Basically, you need to put your food in a food bag, a bag that's gonna keep out animals, rodents, but also bears. If you're in a bear area, this is very, very important. A lot of places will have bear boxes, which are big metal boxes that you can put your food in. But if they don't, you're gonna have to hang your food in the air. Also, places often have bear cable systems where you can do this. The AT has these, but sometimes not. So you need to bring a rope with you and hang it in the sky. So it's best to get a food bag. Most food bags will have handles so that they keep out the smell and animals can't get into them, and then you can hang from that handle, you can hang it up in the air. That's really all you need to know. I'll link down below some examples.
Okay, next let's talk about rain, your rain system or whatever. I feel like with hiking gear, you just say the word system with everything and you sound cool or whatever, but let's talk about rain. So the most normal combination of things you're gonna see for hikers is a raincoat and a rain pack cover. That's not what I do, but I will just share that information with you because most normal people do that. A rain cover is just going to slip over your backpack and you can pull it tight and it's gonna keep rain off your pack. And then also you'll wear the raincoat. You guys know what a raincoat is. You'll wear it over your clothes and you don't get wet. I don't like this system because you really still get wet. Like your shorts get wet, your pants get wet, parts of your bag still get wet. I don't find it effective at all. And also you have to take off your backpack and put the rain cover on and put your pack on, and you have to stop. So what I like to do is wear a poncho. I picked this up from the Camino because the Camino is poncho culture and most hiking in America is like raincoat culture. So I like to do a poncho because it's everything in one, and I keep it in the back of my pack right here. So when I'm wearing the backpack, I just pull the poncho out and I don't have to stop walking and I don't have to take the pack off. I can literally put this on while I'm walking if it starts to rain suddenly. And also it keeps my shorts and pants dry and it keeps my whole bag dry versus the other system with the raincoat and the rain cover. You're still really getting really wet and I don't know what the point is. So this keeps you completely dry. When I walked the Camino, it rained like every day. And the inside of my bag was never wet. My bag was never wet. Some people will also get bag liners, which you put it in the bag and you put all your stuff inside the liner. So if your bag does get wet, all of those clothes are still dry. It's called like a second layer of redundancy to keep your clothes dry. I've never used one of those. I've never wished that I had one. I don't really think they're necessary, but I mean, if you're doing something intense, like you're hiking the entire AT or something, maybe you want that. I don't know, I'll link one down below so you guys can give those a look. One thing that I always bring that you don't necessarily need to is this rope. I think it's just good to have for emergencies. I mostly use it for laundry because when I hike, I get really sweaty, and so I just hang it up to hang up all my clothes and all my friends' clothes. But I mostly have this as an emergency in case I need to hang up my food for bears. So if there isn't any way to hang up food or put food in a bear box for any reason, I have this rope and I can suspend my food out of the reach of bears, which is so scary. I just like hate thinking about bears. Next thing you're gonna wanna bring with you is toilet paper. Again, if you're only going for a couple of days, you don't need that much. Just think about how much you use in a couple of days. What I do is I just roll it around my hand and I put it in a bag. Okay, so what's super important with toilet paper is you can't just leave it everywhere. There's serious leave no trace rules on the AT and when you're camping. And so you can't just throw your toilet paper on the ground. When I was on the Camino, it was crazy. There would be toilet paper everywhere. I would look for a place to go to the bathroom. I'd think, this is a nice spot. And then I would get there and there was toilet paper everywhere. And I thought, yep, this is a nice spot. Everyone else peed here. It's so gross. But so when you're going to the bathroom, please don't leave your toilet paper on the ground. What I do is I put it in this bag, and then if you're on the AT or anywhere where they have privies, when I get to the privy, I will dump my toilet paper in the privy. But other than that, you have to pack it out. You have to take it with you. Or the other option is that you could bury it. So I don't have one with me, but when you go camping, you're supposed to have a trowel, which is basically a shovel. And if you're going to poop while you are camping, you need to dig a hole and bury it. And I think there's like jury's out, but most people will say you can bury the toilet paper with your waist, but I don't know. I don't have one because this has never really been a need of mine. I usually only hike on the AT and they have privies and I just use that and it's not really a big deal. We don't need to talk about going to the bathroom that much, but you might need to look into getting a trowel if that's something you frequently are gonna do. Next thing is a headlamp. I don't always use these, but I decided to start using one recently, mostly for reading because I get really bored at night with camping. I like to go to bed at like midnight, and with camping you have to go to bed around 9 or 8 or whenever it's dark. And so I like to have a headlamp so I can go to the bathroom, so I can read. If you are afraid of the dark like me, this might make you feel better. Okay, the last thing I think that you should put on your checklist is camp shoes. And this is gonna be any kind of lightweight, comfortable sandal that you can throw on when you get to camp. I have these lightweight Birkenstock looking croc material shoes. I call them Birken Crocs, or I should call them Firkin Crocs because they're fake. They're like $15 shoes, but they're fabulous. You're just gonna want something lightweight. You're not gonna wanna walk around in your hiking shoes and you're not gonna wanna walk around barefoot. So just something lightweight, flip-flops, anything, doesn't have to be complicated. If it's gonna be cold though, you're gonna want something that you can wear socks with. So you're not gonna want like a thong style flip-flop if you wanna be wearing socks or something like that. So that's why I like the Birkenstock style. But again, whatever you have in your closet is probably fine. You don't need to spend a lot of money on camp shoes, but definitely want to get some. Oh, and one more thing that you should probably bring with you is some kind of guidebook. I don't like to use guidebooks, and nowadays there's so many different apps you can use, so you can just download some kind of app that is gonna show you where the water sources are and where the trail is and all those little details, so you're gonna want something like that. All right, that is everything that I think you should have on your overnight hiking, backpacking checklist. It's kind of a bare bones thing. I hope I identified areas for you where you can cut costs if you want to. Everything can cost as little or as much money as you want. And if you're just trying to get out there for the weekend, you don't necessarily have to invest in everything. And maybe you can just borrow stuff from your friends. Camping doesn't have to be like crazy complicated or intimidating. I hope that this video made you feel more empowered, and I hope that it didn't make you feel like overwhelmed. Camping is fun and exciting, and I hope that you have an opportunity to do it this summer or this fall. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys have questions or comments down below. Also, if you have video ideas or recommendations, I am currently taking them, so let me know, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that. Thank you again to All Trails for partnering with me on this video. Don't forget, they are linked down below if you want to check them out, discover new hikes in your area or wherever you're going next. And I will see you next time. Bye guys!